I walked in on my best friend making out with my dad, and honestly, I wish that was the worst part of this story. So before you click away thinking this is fake, I need you to hear me out because this situation is so messed up that I still can't believe it's my actual life right now. I'm 23, and my best friend Sarah is 25. We've known each other since high school, like she's been there through everything. My mom's death when I was 17, my terrible college breakups, literally every major moment of my life. She was basically family. My dad even called her his honorary daughter. Yeah, that didn't age well. My dad is 52, and look, I'm not going to pretend he's some gross old dude. He's in good shape, has his life together, and after my mom passed, a lot of women his age were definitely interested, which would have been totally fine and normal. But apparently, that wasn't good enough for him. It started about 6 months ago, but I didn't know until 3 weeks ago. Sarah had been acting weird, like distant and sketchy. She'd cancel plans last minute, be super vague about where she was going, and her phone was basically glued to her hand. I thought maybe she was seeing someone and felt weird telling me because I was single or whatever. I literally was happy for her in my head, thinking she finally found someone after her last relationship crashed and burned. Then my dad started acting strange too. He was suddenly very concerned with how he looked, buying new clothes, spending way more time at the gym. He'd get these calls and walk into another room, coming back all smiley. I genuinely thought he might have met someone, and I was supportive. I kept telling him he should get back out there, that Mom would want him to be happy. The universe really loves irony, apparently. The truth came out in the most horrible way possible. I came home early from work one day because I was feeling sick. I wasn't supposed to be there. I walked into my own house, my childhood home, and heard noises coming from upstairs. My first thought was that we were being robbed, so I grabbed a knife from the kitchen like an idiot and crept upstairs. The sounds were coming from my dad's bedroom. My heart was pounding because I thought someone was hurting him. I pushed open the door, and there they were, my dad and Sarah, in his bed, her clothes on his floor, him looking at her the way he used to look at my mom. I literally couldn't move. I just stood there with this kitchen knife in my hand like a complete psycho, staring at the two people I trusted most in this world. Sarah screamed and grabbed the sheets. My dad jumped up and started trying to explain, putting his hands up like I was actually going to stab him. Honestly, the thought crossed my mind. I don't even remember what I said. I think I just started yelling and crying, and then I left. I got in my car and drove to my boyfriend's place and just completely broke down. He had no idea what was happening. I couldn't even get the words out at first. When I finally told him, he was ready to go over there and fight my dad. But what's the point? The damage was already done. My dad called me probably 50 times that night. Sarah texted me these long paragraphs about how she never meant for this to happen, how it just developed naturally, how they have a real connection with my dad, the man who drove us to prom, the man who helped her move into her first apartment, the man who literally held her while she cried about her own father abandoning her family. That detail makes it so much worse, by the way. Sarah's dad left when she was 10, and she always had major daddy issues. She'd literally talk about it in therapy, and now she's sleeping with mine. You can't make this up. The next day I had to go back to get my stuff because I was still living at home trying to save money for my own place. That conversation was brutal. My dad tried to sit me down and explain everything like this was some normal relationship we could just talk through. He said they'd been seeing each other for 6 months, that it started innocently, that they tried to fight their feelings but couldn't. 6 months. They'd been lying to my face for half a year. All those times Sarah came over to hang out with me, was she really there to see him? All those family dinners where she sat across from him, were they playing footsie under the table? I felt sick thinking about it. My dad actually had the audacity to say that he hopes I can be happy for them eventually. Happy for them. Like this is some cute rom-com and not a complete betrayal of every boundary that should exist. He said Sarah makes him feel young again, that he hasn't felt this way since my mom, and that right there, felt like he spit on my mom's grave. My mom died of cancer. It was long and it was painful, and we were both there with her until the end. One of the last things she made me promise was to take care of him, to make sure he didn't isolate himself. I took that seriously. I made sure he ate, that he had a reason to get up every day, that he stayed connected to people, and this is what I get. Him hooking up with someone barely older than me, someone who was supposed to be my friend. Sarah tried to meet with me at a coffee shop a few days later. I only agreed because she wouldn't stop texting and calling, and I needed her to understand that we were done. She showed up looking like she'd been crying for days, which almost made me feel bad until I remembered why. She tried to explain that it wasn't planned, that they ran into each other at a bookstore one day when I was at work, got coffee, started talking, and realized they had a lot in common. They started meeting up as friends, then it became more. She swore they never did anything physical until after they'd already developed feelings. Like that makes it better. I asked her if she ever thought about me during any of this, if she ever considered that dating my dad might destroy our friendship and my family. She cried and said she thought about it constantly, that she almost ended it multiple times, but she's never felt this way about anyone. She said my dad understands her in a way no guy her age ever has. I told her that's because he's old enough to be her father, and that's exactly why this is messed up. I said she clearly has unresolved issues with her own dad, and she's using mine as a replacement. She got defensive and said I was being reductive, that their connection is real and age is just a number. Age is just a number. I've never wanted to throw coffee in someone's face more than in that moment. I told her we were done, that I never wanted to see her again, and that I hope it's worth it when he gets old and she's stuck taking care of him while her friends are still living their lives. Then I left. My family's reactions have been mixed, which somehow makes it worse. My dad's brother thinks it's weird, but says my dad deserves to be happy. My aunt on my mom's side is furious and hasn't spoken to him since she found out. My grandparents don't know yet because I can't figure out how to tell them their son-in-law is dating someone young enough to be their granddaughter. My friends are all team me, obviously, but some of them have started saying things like, maybe I'll feel differently with time, or at least I know my dad is with someone I know is a good person. A good person. Good people don't date their best friend's parent. That's not a thing good people do. The worst part is I'm grieving two relationships at once. I lost my best friend and I lost my dad in the same moment. Because even if they break up tomorrow, how do I come back from this? How do I ever trust him again? Every time I think about visiting him, I picture her there. Every memory I have of Sarah now is tainted with the knowledge that she was probably thinking about him the whole time. I moved in with my boyfriend temporarily, which has been great for our relationship but terrible for my mental health. I cry randomly. I'll be fine, and then I'll remember some inside joke Sarah and I had, or some memory of my dad teaching me to drive, and I just break down. My boyfriend has been amazing, but I can tell he doesn't fully know how to help me through this. Work has been hard too because I can barely focus. My coworkers know something's wrong, but I'm too embarrassed to tell them the truth. How do you casually mention in the break room that your best friend is sleeping with your dad? It sounds like a bad porno plot. I've been going to therapy, which helps a little. My therapist says I need to process the betrayal and the loss separately, that they're two different griefs. She also said I need to decide what boundaries I want moving forward, because my dad isn't going anywhere, and apparently neither is Sarah. That's the thing that keeps me up at night. What if they actually stay together? What if they get married? Would I go to the wedding? Would Sarah become my stepmother? Would I be expected to have her at my future wedding standing where my mom should be? The thought makes me want to throw up. My dad keeps trying to reach out. He sends these long texts about how he never wanted to hurt me, how he wishes things were different, how he hopes we can find a way forward. But he never says he'll end it. He never says he made a mistake. He just wants me to accept it and move on so he can have his relationship and his daughter back. But he can't have both. He chose her. Sarah's Instagram is public, and I hate that I still check it. She hasn't posted anything about them, probably because she knows people would drag her, but I can see my dad liking all her photos. It's pathetic. He's in her comments with heart emojis like a teenager. My 52-year-old father is sliding into my ex-best friend's DMs for the world to see. Some of Sarah's friends reached out to me saying they think it's weird too, but they don't want to take sides. Not taking sides is taking his side, in my opinion. If your friend started dating someone's parent, you should probably say something. I've thought about telling Sarah's mom, who doesn't know yet either. But that feels like I'm just trying to blow up their lives out of spite, and I don't want to be that person, even though they deserve it. The hardest thing is that I still love them both, which makes me so angry at myself. I love my dad. He's my only parent left, and I love Sarah like a sister. That love doesn't just disappear because they hurt me. It just sits there in my chest, mixing with the anger and the betrayal until I can't tell what I'm feeling anymore. I keep replaying the moment I walked in on them. If I'd just stayed at work that day, I might still not know. Part of me wishes I didn't. Ignorance really is bliss sometimes, but I also would have hated living a lie, with both of them sneaking around behind my back, probably feeling sorry for me for not knowing. People keep telling me time heals everything, that eventually this won't hurt as much. But I don't see how. Every major life event I have from now on will be complicated by this. Graduations, my wedding someday, having kids. Do I invite him and accept her presence? Do I exclude him and lose my dad forever? There's no good option. I'm also terrified of what happens if they break up. Does my dad expect me to comfort him? Does Sarah expect us to be friends again? Because neither of those things are happening. They made this choice knowing it would destroy me, and they did it anyway. That's not something you come back from. What really gets me is how selfish they both were. My dad knows what it's like to lose someone you love. He watched my mom die. He knows what grief does to a person, and he chose to inflict that on me. He chose his happiness over my well-being, over our relationship, over everything we built after Mom died. And Sarah knows everything about my family dynamics. She was there through my grief. She held me when I cried about missing my mom. She knew how much my dad meant to me, how fragile things already were, and she still pursued him. That's not love. That's selfishness. I've started wondering if there were signs I missed. Were they too friendly at family dinners? Did they text more than I realized? I keep going through old memories trying to find the moment it started. Like if I can pinpoint it, I can make sense of it. But I can't. My boyfriend thinks I should cut them both off completely and never look back. He says they don't deserve my energy or my forgiveness. Part of me agrees. But another part of me is terrified of losing my dad permanently. He's all I have left of my original family. My mom is gone. I'm an only child. If I lose him too, I'm completely alone in that way. But keeping him means accepting her. And I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I should have to do that. I've thought about writing them both letters, really laying out how much they hurt me, making them understand the magnitude of what they've done. But what's the point? They already know. They just don't care enough to stop. The betrayal from Sarah might actually hurt more than my dad's, which is weird to say. But I chose her. I picked her as my best friend. I trusted her with everything. My dad, I'm stuck with him by biology, but Sarah could have been anyone, and I chose her. And she threw it all away for a relationship that has an expiration date. Because let's be real, what 25-year-old stays with a 52-year-old forever? In 10 years, she'll be 35 and he'll be 62. In 20 years, she'll be 45 and he'll be 72. This isn't going to last. So she destroyed our friendship, destroyed my relationship with my dad, destroyed my family dynamics, all for something that's probably going to fall apart when the excitement wears off and she realizes she's dating someone who's going to retire while she's still in her 30s. I hope it's worth it, I really do. Because they both lost me over this, and I was actually loyal. I was actually there for them unconditionally. And they traded that for whatever this is. So that's where I am now. Homeless, basically, living with my boyfriend, grieving 2 relationships, and trying to figure out how to move forward when the 2 people who were supposed to be my support system are the ones who destroyed me. If you've made it this far, thank you for listening. I know this is a lot. I just needed to get it out because I can't talk about it with anyone who knows them without it getting back to them. And honestly, I need to know I'm not crazy for being this hurt. I need to know that this is as messed up as it feels. Because some days I wake up and they've got me questioning if I'm overreacting, if I should just let them be happy. But then I remember what they did and I know I'm not wrong for feeling betrayed. If anyone's been through something similar, drop a comment. I'd love to know I'm not alone in this nightmare. And if you learned anything from this absolute disaster, maybe it's to set better boundaries with your friends and family before they cross lines you didn't even know existed. Hit subscribe if you want more messy relationship drama, because unfortunately I've got plenty more where this came from. Trust is easy to break and impossible to rebuild, and these 2 shattered mine into pieces I don't think I'll ever be able to put back together.